In this video, I transformed my wild and crazy handwoven fabric into a jacket to wear to a mermaid-themed parade. You might recognize this fabric from one of my past videos where I challenged myself to weave 1 meter of fabric every single day for 30 days. During that challenge, my goal was to not only weave a whole lot, but also to get rid of my scrap yarn stash. So for the first 5 meters or so, I used up all of my favorite scraps, and for the second 5 meters or so, which is the fabric that I'll be using in this video, I used up all of my not so favorite scraps, plus some bits of some super pretty art yarns just to make me feel a little bit better about the whole thing. The resulting fabric is loud, bright, glittery, and definitely not in a color palette that I'd normally work with or wear, which means that this fabric has just been sitting on my shelf because I've been really struggling to figure out what to make with it. Then an idea finally came to me. I consulted the Saori Black Book, which is definitely my favorite of the Saori brand sewing books. I decided to pick pattern number 47, which is kind of an oversized cardigan-y, coat-y thing with a shawl collar. I love the patterns in this book because they're designed to feature as little fabric cutting as possible, which is perfect for limited quantities of precious handwoven fabrics. To start, I always like to lay out my whole fabric so I can take a look at all of it at once and see what parts are my favorite, and then decide if I want to choose to highlight those in my garment. Then, using measuring tape and some quilting clips, I measure to mark the spots where I plan to cut my pattern pieces. To keep my fabric from unweaving itself after being cut, I like to mark where I plan on making my cut, and then sew a line on each side using a straight stitch. Then I make my cut in between the 2 sewed lines. By the way, this video isn't supposed to be a tutorial on how to make this pattern or how to sew with handwovens, in part because I didn't design this pattern and I don't want to overshare the works of others. I'm also definitely still working on my sewing skills and I'm still figuring things out for myself, so this video is more of a documentation of this project and me taking you along on the journey of exploring and experimenting so we can learn together. After cutting out my pattern pieces, the next step was to cut out a neck hole, which was definitely the scariest part of this whole project. The neck hole is basically a large trapezoid that I needed to fully remove from the middle of one of my fabrics. So I folded the fabric in half, measured out half of that trapezoid shape, and then marked the corner with clips. Then I unfolded the fabric and mirrored it on the other side to make sure that things were even. Using my sewing machine, I sewed a line to connect the clips and to create that trapezoid shape. Once I sewed my little trapezoid shape and cut it out, it was time to start assembling the garment. But before I actually start sewing things together, I just want to take a second to show you how this garment's actually constructed because I just think it's so dang cool. So the trapezoid cutout forms the jacket's neck hole. The rectangles around the trapezoid fold down to form the shoulders. And the bottom corners of the fabric fold upwards and connect with the shoulders to make the sleeves and the front of the jacket. Do you see the jacket shape yet? So first, I attached the top and the bottom fabrics together to make them one continuous square-ish shape. Then I did all of that folding magic to make the sleeves and the front of the jacket, and then I sewed them together. Okay, I'm sorry about the dinosaur shirt. I just wanted to be comfy in my comfy clothes, and I didn't stop to think how weird that might actually look on camera, so ignoring that. Hopefully you can now see how this jacket's made. But it's not quite done yet. There's still one final finishing touch, and that's the shawl collar. So I took my last piece of fabric, split it down the middle vertically, and then attached it end to end to make one continuous skinny piece of fabric. And after attaching it, I was ready for my event. With this crazy fabric, some glittery blue eyeshadow, and my pearl-studded platform Crocs, I felt like the perfect combination of circus clown and sea creature, which felt exactly right for a mermaid parade at Coney Island. Before the parade, Ryan and I visited the aquarium, and I have literally never felt more at home staring at fish in an absolutely crazy handmade outfit.
Aquarium.
After our aquarium adventure, we went to the famous Nathan's Hot Dogs for a quick meal.
Cheers. You already ate it?
Then we found our spot for parade viewing. This parade was all about handmade clothes, DIY floats, and gaudy undersea aesthetics, so as you can imagine, I was stoked. Maybe next year I can take it a step further and make a crazy hat or a full-on outfit. I don't know, what do you think?
If you change your mind on the 13 line, honey, I'm still free.
Thank you so much for joining me on this sewing and mermaid parade adventure. If you like this video, please consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons to help support my channel, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!